Evening from Brendan Cunningham, the real estate doctor at EXP, to all of our friends out in podcast land. With me today is our partner, Matt Paul. He does it all. Well, not quite, because we have some drop-in guests that are going to talk about things that not only does he not do, but I don't think he wants to do. But be that as it may, today I thought we'd talk about, it's not such necessarily the downside to real estate, but it's part of the deal. You got to maintain your properties.
Absolutely.
You know what? And a lot of times, a little preventive maintenance goes a hell of a long way.
Before it's an issue, yeah.
And just take pride in your property, take care of it. And there's some things that people don't want to acknowledge as issues, but simple things like one of the easiest repairs you can make, and it can be devastating if you don't, is your downspouts and your gutters.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you'll have foundation issues faster than you can say Jack Robinson. So you do have to take care of some things. But it's well worth it because it helps make your investment preserve its financial integrity as well as helps it with its growth. But today we have a couple of guys, because we like to have guys drop in from the sky, right?
Yeah.
Today we have a couple of fellows that are going to talk to us about, well, some things you don't want in your house.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to say
Yeah,
it?
I think it's a great way to say it.
Yeah. Critters.
Critters.
Bugs.
Things.
Ants. All kinds of stuff. There's a million things that you don't want in your house. Sometimes we exterminate them. You know what? I don't exterminate. Actually, I used to exterminate.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell you my exterminating story. When I first got my first apartment in New York City, a great apartment, I didn't know anything about roaches. And then all of a sudden I saw this thing in the kitchen. I said, what the heck is that? And I said, oh, it must be a roach. And then I found out that in every New York City apartment, they exterminate for roaches every month. Whether you want it or not, they come to your house, they knock on your door, the owner, the landlord, if he's taking care of the property, he's going to send his team in there. They'll ask you two questions. They usually carry two canisters. Do you have dogs and cats or children or not? And if you didn't, they'd use this one. That was the heavy duty thing. The other one was pretty mild and it didn't kill the animal, but it took care of the roaches. Every month. Well, when I started buying income properties, I went to a similar store where they bought these things. And I discovered something. You don't see any old guys that are exterminators. Because they're working with some pretty heavy-duty chemicals. So when Matt was telling me he had these fellows, they're the best exterminators in our area. They work Erie County, Niagara County, they'll tell us more. And I said, let me guess. I bet you they're not old. He says, well, come to think of it, they're not. Proves my case, because he's spraying some stuff that you really don't want. With us today from I can't believe the name of this. This is called, what is it? The Freedom Force. The Freedom Force. They're going to come in with capes. They're not just exterminators. These are like super exterminators. Come on down, Josh and Jerry. They got their names on their shirts because they know I'm an idiot. I'm not going to remember. But here comes the Freedom Force. The force is here.
Wait the entrance.
Okay, hey, this is a big entrance. We give it a big entrance. Look at that. Look at this.
Jokes on this guy, we're actually 75 years old.
Because they're drinking the stuff. Yeah.
It's a preservative.
Pyrethrins.
Yeah.
Pyrethrins?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what they are, right?
Yeah.
Pyrethrins is this, evidently it comes from the tropics of Brazil. That's the one that won't kill your kids in your house.
Oh, okay.
For the roaches.
That's the one missing one ingredient.
That's missing something. But I said, yeah, there's none of these, but you guys are young guys, Turks like us. Well, it's not that funny, don't laugh. Hey, all right, so that's the story. What do you? So get into it. What do you do exactly? How do you do this? Why do you do this?
Well, we like helping people. That's the biggest thing.
Why don't you become a social worker then?
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to do that. I was a volunteer fireman for a long time.
You're a good man then.
So
I love
that's
you,
something
man.
I
I love you, man.
enjoy. We're very personal guys, and we know that people can get issues with pests that they just can't handle. And we decided to go on our own after work for a big company and being able to be somewhat affordable because pest control is expensive altogether. And just take the reins on that. Oh yeah.
Expensive. Everything's
So we dipped into that and we're helping people, giving them decent deals and knowing we can be there for them. That's what we do. That's what we enjoy doing.
Yeah, our biggest, the whole point of it is peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's kind of what pest control should provide to folks. There's of course no shortage of pest control in the area. There's you could look it up. There's tons of companies. You got to try and set yourself.
Why is that? Do we have more pests here than in other places?
I don't think so. I think right now what we're seeing is more of a big corporate and small local. I think that's the big battle that we see nowadays in the industry in Western New York.
Mhm.
And having come from big corporate and becoming small local, I mean, we see the differences. You know, we talk to new customers that call us unhappy with a previous service with a different company. We see a lot of the same sort of complaints and things like that.
So when they said they're not, they said, listen, I had a guy come out, he sprayed some stuff, but it didn't work. Is that what they say?
It's not so much that, it's the, I would say it's more, well, they said they were gonna come out, but then they didn't.
Oh, no shows.
Or
Don't get me started on no shows.
Or billing issues become a big problem. Those are two of the biggest complaints.
Well, we get a lot of doing the job half done and then being done with it.
Yeah,
And it's all about detective work when it comes to this industry. You really have to figure out if you got mice or rats, how they're getting in, how we're gonna seal it up, how we're gonna keep it from happening again, catching them.
Mhm.
A lot of companies, some of them don't do it. And I'm not pointing a lot of fingers, a lot of companies out there,
yeah,
now, we love doing it, you know,
Yeah.
it's fun, but there's a lot of companies out there that, you know,
it's
don't
a job.
have that.
It's a job to them,
They
to
don't-
some people.
They don't have that drive.
Yeah, this was our career when we started. We've been in the industry for a bit. When we both started, we happened to start the same year. Didn't know each other then. I was about 13, 14 years ago at this point. But we both hit the ground kind of running, where it's like, well, this is my career. This is what we're doing. You know, and that mentality, it's probably still there. But I mean, it all depends on the person. And I know some companies. I'll probably lean towards the big corporate type companies. You know, they're hiring people, this is a job to them, maybe the training isn't there, maybe the management isn't helping those guys. When we started, management was great for us, and you know, it fostered a good work environment.
So you take pride in what you guys do.
We do,
That's
100%, yeah. And now that it's, you know, we started our own company, it's all on us. It's our name out there, it's our blood, sweat, and tears.
Your capes.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
kids, right? We have secret identities, you know. But yeah, it's even more so taking pride in this, because it's like, this is what we do. You know, we're proud to do this. And Google's going to tell you right away. You know, you get a bad Google review or a good one almost instantaneously nowadays.
Yeah, that's a different part of our world too.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I asked about, well, do we have more things up here? And actually, you have different things up here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I first moved up here, I put a contract in, and I said, just put the usual things in there, subject to attorney approval, which was not a part of normal practice up here when I first came here. Now it's standard. And I said, and you know, the standard termite inspection clause, because you can't buy a house south of Poughkeepsie unless, if there's a mortgage involved, unless you do a termite inspection.
That makes
Because they have
sense.
termites.
Yep.
And they said, oh no, we don't do that. I said, what do you mean you don't do that? I couldn't believe it. And they said,
Yeah.
well, we don't really have termites
Yeah.
up here because it's too cold. But you do have powder puff beetles
Oh.
and other insect-boring creatures.
Yeah, there's there are wood destroying insects for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Termites around here,
Not so much.
from what we've been told and what has been explained to us, a lot of it's the soil type around here. We're much more clay.
Yeah, as opposed to sandy lawn.
Yes,
Right.
the subterranean
Yeah,
termite
yeah.
needs a certain type of soil type. So South Buffalo, apparently, there's sometimes issues there.
Really?
But again, it's like a local little.
And that goes to the thing that we talked about in the previous shows, microclimates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on where you go, like the market in North Tonawanda is very different from the market in Tonawanda.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's a couple miles down the road, but it's a different game.
Right.
Uh,
That makes sense.
So, okay, so big challenges that you face. What's the toughest thing to get rid of?
We talk about, bedbugs are tough.
Probably.
Bed bugs, oh my god.
Yeah, that's probably the worst one, mostly due to the fact that there's a lot of over-the-counter products that people will buy and use, whether it's a tenant, a landlord, a homeowner, whichever it is, they'll buy this because it says right on there, hey, good for bed bugs. Everything over the counter is repellent. With bed bugs, with how they are, they're a very primitive creature. They will just get out of Dodge and hide out in a wall, and they can hunker down for months without food and wait till it is good again, and they'll come back out.
They get in your luggage, and they hear all these things. Don't ever put your luggage on the bed, and all this kind
You
of
go to a hotel, put it right into a bathtub, and do an inspection.
Yeah.
At least that's what our photo albums for our vacations look like. There's always a picture of me doing our hotel inspections. So
There's a lot of weird spots and everything too. Go to the movie theaters, you went to the movie theaters with the family, check your chairs out.
Really?
Same, yeah, I mean, it can get bad. They can get onto your pants. You're sitting there for what, 1 to 2 hours watching a movie?
Yeah.
You get right out, you can hitchhike them home.
Are they big enough to see? So you can
Well, about the
basically,
size of an apple seed, full-grown adult.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, pretty good.
Nymphs are tough unless you're looking for them, but at the same point, something like that, like public transportation or a theater, it's really going to come down to the luck of the draw or the unluck of the draw. Who sat in that seat before you?
So they can latch onto you and you can bring them home?
Oh yeah.
What it comes down to, it's a big
Yeah.
Russian roulette
Lot of
when it comes
times.
to sitting somewhere where you know other people sit.
Yeah.
You know, these over-the-counter things, I can remember seeing some thing on Facebook or something like that, they say, all you really need to do is spray your sheets with vodka once a week. I'm thinking, yeah, I need a lot of vodka.
Yeah.
That's kill these son of a bitches, right?
Might attract somebody
Yeah.
else to your
Yeah,
house.
right.
And then you get the drunken bed.
Yeah.
Like, let's go here.
Yeah,
You know, your snacks.
Yeah.
All right, so you do bed bugs, you do roaches,
Oh yeah.
all the stuff that you think in big cities.
Yeah, well, I mean, Buffalo is an urban environment,
Yeah, it is.
you know,
Second biggest city in New York State.
and a lot of things,
Loudest market in America.
Yeah.
a lot of creatures that are deemed a pest are generally considered what's called commensal, which means they need to be around humans.
Yeah.
So rats, they know where to go to eat because humans are throwing stuff out in a dumpster, you know, for example, and
We're not the neatest creatures.
yeah,
that's for sure.
the closest together that humans are, well, that's where those types of pests will end up as well.
I had an experience, I was at the Oak Room in the old Plaza Hotel when Donald Trump owned it years ago. I was
Mhm.
sitting in there and I'm watching the news there, and it's right on Central Park South, right by the zoo, the Central Park Zoo, and they were talking about the rat infestation. And they had the cameras, the trucks, and the news was right outside the window and right by the drainage thing there. And they showed the rats going in and out of the drain, the sewer. It was like the scene in Indiana Jones with the rats. Millions of them, millions. I said, I'm in like a 12-star hotel. I'm watching this across the street, and Donald Trump's down the hallway. And I said, this is insane.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yep, I gotta imagine New
It
York
happens all the
City,
time.
Yeah.
the amount of cavernous subways and tunnels and
The
pipes.
rats are.
Yeah,
I don't even think they put totes. I still pretty sure they just put the garbage bags to the
right out to the curb. Yeah, that's just dinner bell all day
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
Easy
all night
access.
long.
Oh yeah, and if you've ever had to live through a garbage strike in New York City,
Oh my
the
goodness.
they're leaping. The rats are leaping. It's like part of the entertainment.
The
Crazy.
ground's moving.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some other things that I don't want in my house. Bats. You guys take care of bats?
We don't personally take care of bats. We can do a bat inspection. We defer. We have a guy.
You got a guy.
We got a guy.
See, we got two guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a guy. He's great. He works all over the place like we do, Erie, Niagara counties. Yeah, we can certainly determine if it's a bat or not. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
My daughter had bats in South Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What other
Wonderful house.
creatures?
Beautiful house.
What are the other creatures that you guys wouldn't handle?
For the most part, it's what's called nuisance
Nuisance
wildlife.
wildlife, yeah. Squirrels, raccoons.
Husbands.
Springtime hits. A lot of people are calling about skunks getting underneath front
my dog.
porches.
My two dogs got skunked last year, and my
Yeah.
daughter's two dogs got skunked
Yeah.
last year. Oh, my.
Skunks are definitely, they're not going anywhere.
First sign
but,
of spring, man, the skunk.
Yep. That's usually the first roadkill you start seeing. Unfortunately, are skunks. They're all waking up.
They're
But
smelling.
that all falls under what's called nuisance wildlife in our industry. You need a separate license for that. We don't offer that, but there's a lot of what they call pest control officers listed on the DEC website. You need somebody, just like Google it, look it up, see who's best out there. But there's a lot of folks that take care of nuisance wildlife.
Yeah.
But your sweet spot would be what?
Yeah, it's insects and rodents.
So yeah, when we say insects, so in the summer we're hopping busy with like yellow jackets,
Oh,
hornets,
yeah.
ball-faced hornets, European hornets, paper wasps,
Paper
yellow
wasps, yeah.
Back
jackets.
up. European horns?
Oh yeah.
So how do you, they wear scarves? And
It's usually their
and
accents.
berets? Is
They
that-
all sound like Gordon Ramsay.
Yes. Don't
They're-
judge your cooking.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're about an adult's about the size of a matchbox car, orange, red eyes, very intimidating looking. It's our largest stinging insect
Oh
here,
my God.
I
but
haven't seen one of those.
they're kind of fun for us to
Fun.
take care of.
Yeah.
Usually a hollowed part of a tree, a wooden barn. They like wood, I've noticed.
Sometimes sidings of houses, soffits, stuff
yeah,
like that.
especially if it's like wood siding or wood,
Cedar shakes,
fascia
things like
boards
that.
and stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
But they're out there. Yeah.
We'll get an exposed nest too. We'll get nests that you can physically see that they won't nest in the void depending on the area.
Yeah.
Shade and everything.
What about
like that.
bees?
Bees,
See the honeybees.
Yes.
Don't hurt the honeybees.
No, we absolutely don't want to do that.
so along with honeybees, we have two different folks that will call that are licensed beekeepers,
Right.
if it's something that can be extracted. Bees that present a credible threat to,
Incredible threat.
hey, if someone's allergic, or if it's
What is-
preschool,
is
or
this
if
the
it's
Iranians,
children.
they're incredible
So
threat.
here's the deal, and a lot of people don't realize this, is there's a lot of people allergic, right?
Oh, yeah.
So honeybees, when they sting you, they sting you once and their stingers rip out and they die. They're done.
Right.
They're done stinging. So when they get inside the house, a nest or hive, we call it,
Mhm.
can get very big inside the void. Honey can start to accumulate in that wall, ruin the wall. They can bust in that way. And if you're allergic, your wife, your kid,
Yeah.
you know,
We're licensed with the DEC, as every pest control guy is,
Yeah.
or gal. We are allowed to take care of a honeybee hive in that type of situation if it, like I said, it poses
a threat.
structural threat,
Yeah.
a safety threat, that type of thing. For the most part, and I can speak for Jerry on this one. Like if we get a bumblebee call, we really try to talk a customer out of having to take care of them. Again,
They're
if
pollinators.
and if
you know.
they're-
Yeah, we love the
Yeah.
bumblebees.
And
Without
if-
them,
and-
we're in trouble.
and if they're not right there on a playground where kids are putting
Yeah.
their feet, usually we can explain to the customer, just try to leave it. But, we have to take into account what we have a customer that's allergic,
Yeah, no, that's a big deal.
gotta take care of it.
I had a friend whose husband had been through, he flew the big bomber, the B-29 bomber, whatever it was, in World War II. Million missions, this guy. He was like, he had stuff all over his shirt, he had all kinds of ribbons.
Awesome.
And then he came home, peacetime, 4 heart attacks. This guy was
Oh.
like indestructible. They had bees one night. He got stung by the 20 bees.
That took them out?
Took 'em out.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah.
He went through every battle imaginable.
Well, that falls under basically our two things that really get deemed an emergency in the industry. Yellow jackets busting into your house. When we say yellow jackets, because that's usually what'll happen, is it, second
A lot of
part
people
of the
think they're
summer.
bees, they're not.
Yeah, yellow jackets are the ones that they nest inside of a void in a wall, and then all of a sudden it's what we call a breakthrough. They're in.
Those guys will sting you over and over.
Yeah,
They don't care.
those are very
They don't
aggressive.
die, I do know that.
So that's kind of the emergency. The other one that gets deemed an emergency, someone's got a rat cornered in their kitchen or something like that,
Not
which does happen, and we try to
And
address
it's a
those things.
4-legged rat, not a 2-legged rat.
Correct.
That's a different thing, we got divorced.
Yeah.
We've had, when we first started our company, we would get, we wanted to take everything that came in, because we wanted to prove ourselves
you gotta
and
do
we needed
that.
the money, right?
Sure.
So we would get calls I would get calls 2, 3 in the morning, sometimes at midnight, I got a rat in my house, and I need to get here right away, or a yellow jacket right through. Because if it's a hot summer day, it could maybe a cool evening or at night, but if they're inside your house,
Yeah.
your wall, they're gonna get in.
Tell the DoorDash story.
Oh, yeah, so we had, I had what was an Instacart.
Oh, Instacart.
So a guy called and he had ordered Instacart on his way home, and it was sitting there for a while. So it's like DoorDash, you get your food delivered and it's on your porch.
Wow.
So your groceries he ordered. The rat got in there. He didn't know. So when he brought his groceries and put it on the counter, the rat took off. And he saw it.
Wow.
Took me about a week
Yeah.
to get it.
Wow.
Now what the rat was doing, it was a male. It was going where the dishwasher line was, chewing it, and it was getting its water access there. So I had plenty of water.
Oh, yeah.
Then I started eating some of the kids' snacks, Snicker bars, stuff like that. So he was very happy when we took care of him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was. Okay, so one of the things that we believe when we talk to you people out in podcasts, and we're talking to agents, we're talking to buyers, we're talking to sellers, people think of getting into the business, homeowners, investors. This is real estate, we're not mincing words here, we're telling the real story, but one of the things that we believe brings value to our table is that we are a resource.
Yes.
As we like to kid people say, I got a guy.
Yeah.
We got 2 guys here this morning. They have guys,
Yeah.
okay?
Exactly.
Because what we do, it's not just about buying and selling the house, because pretty much you're gonna need to maintain this property as time goes by. You may need landscapers, you may need exterminators. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, you gotta address it. You can't let the problem get worse. So that's one of the reasons why we thought we'd have the Cape Crusaders come in today and talk to us, because they're good guys and they're part of our team. They're part of our
Absolutely.
resource
Yep.
bank. And
Man's trying to sell me a house right now too.
you bastards.
Yeah.
You know, we don't sell anybody, you buy houses.
Yeah.
We just happy to help put it together. And that's true,
Correct.
and that's sort of a philosophical point too. I don't think I've ever sold a house, no, I know, I've never sold a house, but they buy them from me, and I make sure that they know the pros and cons of going into it. And then it's an adult decision.
That's a good thing too, is getting inspections done on your house. If you buy the house and you get it and you're all ready to go, and you think there might be some suspicion of pests, you can give us a call, we do inspections.
We've
We'll
had
come
that.
out and-
We've had folks move into a house
Yeah.
and in the winter, and then in the spring, they had no idea carpenter ants were already a massive issue in the basement. So we've gone
Yeah.
and taken care of things like that multiple times.
Mice
It
droppings
happens.
in the basement.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because we have the seasons here in Western New York, so a lot of folks aren't in a house for a full year yet, and so they don't know what potentially is going on. Yeah,
It's
on the side of pests.
It's like in springtime, we have ants.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't bother, I think you have ants for a couple of weeks and then they go away,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to exterminate them, right?
It depends. Just
Okay.
depends. Ultimately, your level of comfort
Oh,
on the ants.
But they go away.
Well, we have a lot of different classifications or different types of ants too. A lot of people, when they see the little ants, they call them, I mean, you got pavement ants, but some people call
They'll call
them
them
sugar
sugar
ants.
ants
Or
or-
Yeah, the little ones, they.
Yeah.
But there's different types.
There's the big one.
You got,
That's a
you know,
carpenter
you got
ant.
your carpenter ants, you got your acrobat ants, pavement ants, citronella ants.
Wait,
bad ones are-
Back up, acrobat ants?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
ones that flip around.
I guess they do.
Why don't you tell them what?
I want something else flipping around.
There's identification of those ants.
And the one of the toughest small ant that you're talking about that doesn't just go away is called an odorous house ant.
Yes, those are.
If you spray for them, they will spread to the next room, and the next room, and the next room. So those are very common in the spring. They're common all summer long here in Western New York. Very common in houses, but bait only. And you could get the bait traps from Value or Home Depot. Likely could work if you're putting them in there, but we also have folks that they don't even want anything to do with this stuff. So we're just okay. Leave it to us. We'll take care of this for you.
Mhm.
Lots of different species of ants, and they all have different ways of acting.
The
So-
biggest thing is inspection to see how we're getting in. too.
Yeah.
Well, you've made us, I think, a little smarter.
Yeah, that's good. Hopefully learned a lot today.
I learned more than about things I didn't even want to know about. Acrobatic ants. I don't think I'll ever be the same.
It's like flying squirrels.
Oh my God, I don't want those guys either. But thank you. So how do we get a hold of you? Now this is gonna be for the Western New York people, because I don't think you're gonna drive down to Albuquerque, or over to
Well,
Albuquerque.
Jerry might.
Okay, he likes it.
You're in Niagara
I'll
County.
do whatever. John
You're
wants
there.
to do.
So how do they get a hold of you? You have a number here? Give them a number.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And
I'll put it on the screen.
our main number, 716-799-5282. That's our main number, comes right to our office, and then figure out where we go from there, who's gonna come out and take care of you.
We also have a website you can go on at freedomforcepest.com.
And a Facebook page. Find us, like us, follow us. We put cool videos up as much as we can.
Yes.
You get to see some of the crazy nests, some of the weird breakthroughs that we deal with. We try to get good rat videos, but those are tough.
Yeah.
Because they're fast.
Fast.
Real
Yeah,
quick.
you don't want those guys.
Yeah.
And when you call, make sure you say, "Is this the young guy?"
Yeah.
See if they respond, okay, because they're still alive. Okay, I'll let you wrap it up, so what do you have to say for
Oh,
yourself?
this was great. Thank you guys for
Sure.
your time and coming in here, and always thank you for following us and liking us and commenting on our podcast. And please continue to give us feedback.
And remember that, whether you want to think it or not, Zillow says this is the second hottest market, no.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, it's the hottest market in the United States. Buffalo, New York, go
Yeah.
figure.
Here we are.
It's something else. And you know why? Because we've got good exterminators here. We keep our property really well maintained. That's the secret. I think that's what it must be.
It has to be. Absolutely.
Tune in next week. We love you,
Thank
man.
Take care.
Bye.
That's great. Thank you guys.
Thank you. That was